Welcome to Recycle Upcycle. I'm Tamara Schubert, your Family Consumer Science Agent for NMSU Cooperative Extension Service here in Chaves County. And this month, we're talking about trash. You heard me. As a nation, Americans generate more waste than any other nation in the world. 4.5 pounds of municipal solid waste per person per day, and 65% of that ends up in our landfill. That's a lot of trash. Approximately 23.7 million more tons than what we used in 2017, and 60 million more tons than what we used in 1990. If we put all the trash that we produce in a year together and we pile it 400 feet high, which is about the size of a 40-story building, we would cover more than 1,000 acres of trash, and that's only 1 year. Think about how that adds up over time and what that does to our environment. We all have a part to play. Reduction and reuse are the most effective ways we can save natural resources, protect our environment, and save a little bit in our budgets along the way, which, let's face it, we all like to do. Each week this month, we will look at new items that end up in our landfills and explore options on how to reduce and reuse. So let's get started. Let's talk about grocery shopping. It's something that we all do every week, but saving at the grocery store happens before you ever go to the store. Take inventory of what's in your pantry. One of the big things that ends up in our landfills is food waste, and we can prevent that by starting at home. Look at what's in your pantry. Make a shopping list and a menu of what you want to do that week. Put it into your phone so you know exactly what you need to do. You've saved because you're going to reduce your food waste, but you've also reduced your paper waste by putting it in your phone instead of on a list. Take a reusable shopping bag with you. It cuts down on those plastic bags that we all find blowing around when the wind in Roswell picks up, which it does quite often. As we shop, we want to purchase things with less packaging. This cuts down on the waste that we have long term. This may mean purchasing foods in bulk and storing them in a freezer to reduce not only packaging but also our food waste. Many items that we all buy can be frozen. Milk, bread, cheeses, meats, they can all go in the freezer. The things that usually don't are the sour cream, the fresh veggies like our lettuce and our cucumbers, the custards, icings, and mayos. So one of the things that I think almost all of us purchase is milk. And they come in these plastic milk jugs. We're going to make something handy today out of our milk jugs that will help reduce the amount of plastics that end up in our landfills. So you're going to need one milk jug. I washed mine and I cleaned it. I also have some drawing on mine. So a couple of tips and tricks as we go through these. We're going to make some containers. And I was just showing my husband, I was like, ooh, look, honey, something new for your garage and all those screws and bolts y'all got laying around, without having to go buy new containers, right? So it reduces the landfill, but it also helps on our budget because we can use these things instead of buying new. So you want one side of your milk jug all the way up, and you want your other side to have arches. The points of those arches are gonna go right above that little patterned imprint in the bottom of our jugs. I found the best way to do this is with a pair of scissors once you get started. So I'm gonna use my knife to get started. But I have more control, as I found, over a pair of scissors than I do over my utility knife in cutting this. So it makes some smoother edges. So I'm going to start on one side and work my way around. So I have my cutout piece here. And you can remove the labels if you would like to. Once you have it all cut out, we're going to fold along this bottom line on our jugs. These are going to create the flaps and the input of our container here. These are handy if you're packing school lunches or if you're packing snacks for the kids. You can throw some juice boxes in here, some small oranges or fruit. And this last flap is going to be the top of our thing. So if you are a crafter and you like to collect things, buttons, things like that go great in here. There are two things that we're gonna do. I'm gonna use a hot glue gun to punch a hole in the middle here for our elastic to create our closure. If you've got a burner, something like that, to go through, you can use that. I had a hot glue gun handy, and I apologize, I've got a cough from some allergies going on. So I'm gonna tie a knot in this elastic, and you can use elastic. I happen to have some hair ties from making some masks a while back, so I'm going to use the elastic, and I'm just going to tie a knot in the end of it so that it keeps it from pulling all the way through the hole that we have. And we have an elastic closure on the back. Okay, so once we have our elastic in, we do want a small button, and we're going to put the button on top of the lid. So it does work. You do need a needle and a thread. It does take you just a minute to get through the plastic. So we do want to do a couple loops here with our button. So be extremely careful, and I'm going to move the button out of the way. Needles do tend to slide a little bit on the plastic. So once you've got your initial holes, you can go back through those same holes to secure your button on. And we're going to take four stitches through our button just to give us a pretty good hold on it. It doesn't have to be super tight, remember, because our elastic is coming around the other end, and that elastic is a hair tie. It's a little bit bigger. If you have scrap elastic at home and you want to use that, that works really good too. So we've got those stitched on, and then we're going to go on the inside and tie off our knot. And I'll show you in just a little bit what this looks like. The blue marker, the Sharpie, whatever you use to draw your pattern on with, does wash off. So if you want to podge a different scrapbook paper or something on top to make them a little bit cuter, if you're using them for kids' snacks or anything like that, that does work. Like I said, it'd be great in your little craft cabinet or your office if you're holding paper clips, rubber bands, extra ribbon, things like that. So you have a great little container. You've recycled plastic. You don't have to spend money on a new one. I'm going to take these rubber bands that I have sitting right here. We're going to throw all this stuff in here, and then we're going to store it away in the closet. Remember, guys, make your shopping list before you go shopping. Take those extra bags with you so you're not using the plastic bags at the store, and reduce what you put in the landfill. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you next week. We're making things out of clothes.